I can't believe school starts tomorrow. It's our last official day of summer. I've really grown over the summer. At least my feet have.
As my friend Maggie knows, change, whether it's from one grade to the next, or from young kid to teenager, is exciting.
You could say the only constant on planet Earth is change. Just look at a butterfly. It starts out as a caterpillar. Then the caterpillar turns into a butterfly. The butterfly lays eggs, and those eggs turn into new caterpillars. This cycle of growth and change is mirrored in every living thing, including the human body. In your body, growth and change are controlled by the reproductive and endocrine systems. Together, they make your body fully mature. 'Cause this is not a game. This is the human body in action.
This is our last big get-together before going back to the books. I hope I'm ready for such a big change.
On the most basic level, you're changing every day. See, your body is made up of trillions of tiny cells, living cells, that can take in food, grow, and even reproduce. Some cells live for just a few hours, while others are with you all your life. Even so, over the course of about 7 years, almost all of the cells in your body have been replaced by new cells at least once. Talk about a whole new you.
The key to your body functioning properly is organization. Similar cells group together to form tissues. Different tissues work together to form organs. And organs work together as systems to carry out specific duties.
And it all happens as you change and grow.
Jenny and I used to be able to wear the same clothes, but these days, forget it. She's grown even more than I have.
How fast you grow and develop depends on your metabolism.
Metabolism is all of the chemical processes that give your cells energy and help your body function and grow. It's regulated by the endocrine system, one of the body's communication networks.
The endocrine system broadcasts its information by sending out chemical messengers called hormones. A collection of specialized organs known as endocrine glands produce most hormones, releasing them directly into the bloodstream.
With more than 50 hormones, getting the right balance is one of the endocrine system's biggest jobs. Fortunately, a constant flow of information from all over the body helps the endocrine system keep things on an even keel. It uses a feedback mechanism that works kind of like the thermostat in your house.
When the endocrine system senses that levels of a hormone are too low, it sends a chemical signal to the responsible gland, telling it to speed up production. When the endocrine system senses there's too much of a substance, it tells the gland to slow down production or turn off altogether.
Hormones can affect growth and development in a big way. How do they do it? I've got a busybody experiment to find out. Plants, like humans, produce hormones called growth regulators, which control their growth. Since we don't want to experiment on our lab partners, we use pea plants instead.
People are not plants, so this experiment won't show you exactly how human hormones work, but it'll give you a pretty good idea.
In addition to your pea plants, you'll need 2 solutions of plant growth regulators, hormones, that you'll be applying to the plants. Because these are chemicals, you'll definitely need an adult to supervise this experiment.
And be sure to wear safety gear like goggles, gloves, and lab coats. You don't want to get these chemicals on your skin or in your eyes.
You'll also need distilled water, 3 spray bottles, a couple of rulers, and paper and pencil to keep a record of how your plants grow.
Do these growth hormones affect the plants differently? Let's find out. Divide the plants into 3 groups and measure each plant's height.
Round off to the nearest millimeter and write the measurement down.
Fill 1 spray bottle with the first hormone solution and label the bottle 1. Fill the second spray bottle with the other hormone solution and label it 2. Fill the third spray bottle with just distilled water and label it 3.
Now, evenly spray group number 1 with solution 1. Do the same with group number 2 using solution 2. And of course, give group 3 a nice spritzing of good old H2O from bottle 3.
For the next several weeks, you'll keep on spraying each group with the proper solution once every week. And be sure to water the soil equally for each group as needed. You'll take measurements of your plants every week before you spray them.
And the great hormone growth race is on. May the best hormone win.
It's not really a race, you know. We're just demonstrating how different hormones affect an organism. While doing an experiment, a scientist doesn't root for any particular result. She simply observes and makes conclusions.
Objectively speaking, I see that by week 4, the plants in group number 1 have the longest stems. In fact, some of them look like they've gotten a little too leggy. In comparison, the plants in group number 2 are shrimps, and the water-treated plants of group number 3 fall somewhere in between.
What can you conclude from these results?
Well, one hormone seems to have promoted growth, while the other seems to have slowed growth.
Right. But it's important to remember that plants produce the hormones we used naturally. You simply changed the balance of the hormones in the plants.
So we can also conclude that living things, including people, need the right chemicals in the right balance to live and grow properly.
Excellent conclusion.
By starting and stopping chemical reactions within cells, the endocrine system helps control everything from how strong you are to how tall you'll be. But the system's big boss, the pituitary gland, seems pretty darn puny.
The pituitary gland is only the size of a pea, but from its headquarters in the brain, it instructs all the other glands on what hormones to produce and when.
Okay, hormones, let's communicate. Tell those tissues and organs to turn that chemical reaction on. Oh yeah, and tell them to turn that chemical reaction off.
One of the pituitary gland's main jobs is making human growth hormone, which tells your muscles, bones, and all your other organs how fast to grow.
The pituitary gland also controls the thyroid gland, which is located near the throat. This butterfly-shaped organ regulates your metabolism with the hormone thyroxine.
Remember, metabolism is all of the chemical processes that give your cells energy and help your body function and grow. So if your pituitary gland tells your thyroid gland to produce thyroxine at a normal rate, you'll feel alert and ready to perform the task at hand. But if your thyroid produces too much hormone, you can end up edgy and nervous, suffering from weight loss and even emotional problems. And if the thyroid doesn't produce enough thyroxine, you may gain weight and feel tired all the time.
Around the thyroid gland are 4 parathyroid glands. By regulating calcium, these glands promote strong teeth and bones, as well as helping your nerves function, muscles contract, blood clot, and glands secrete. The excitement glands are the adrenal glands. Located near the kidneys, they secrete many hormones, including adrenaline.
Adrenal glands make adrenaline. Get it? These are the hormones that get you pumped up, sometimes in response to a big moment, like a record score on your favorite video game. But often they respond to something that you find threatening.
When you are excited, adrenal hormones rush to your heart, telling it to pump faster, so oxygen and energy can flow to your muscles. For brief periods of time, you are stronger, faster, and better able to run away or stand and fight.
Hold on to your history books. Here comes a body blast from the past.
In 1914, Harvard scientist Walter Cannon published a landmark study about how people deal with stress. He theorized that long ago, humans faced constant danger from the wild world all around them.
To protect itself, the human body developed a system of responses to escape threatening situations, or go into attack mode when escape is not an option. Dr. Cannon called this response fight or flight. Even though today most of us are more likely to face a reckless driver than a wild animal, the endocrine system is still producing the hormones that helped humans survive in prehistoric times.
Along with adrenaline, the adrenal gland also produces another important group of hormones, steroids. These chemicals direct how your body uses food and stores energy.
Certain steroids tell skin to become hairy, and others tell baby fat to be replaced by muscle. With a balanced diet and regular exercise, the body's natural steroids help digest food and build new cells. And doctors have even found ways to use steroids as medicines to fight problems like heart disease.
But steroids can be harmful as well. Some athletes take drugs, artificial steroids, to try and get stronger. But remember, hormones only work properly when they're in balance. Excess steroids are extremely dangerous. They can cause obesity and put serious stress on your heart and other organs.
All your life, the endocrine system has been telling your body what to do and when to do it. Some of its hormones have even been on the job since before you were born. But other hormones are regular sleeping beauties. They've been lying dormant, waiting for the right moment to spring into action.
These hormones control many of the physical changes that make boys men and girls women. The physical transformation called puberty. It triggers the maturation of your reproductive system. As its name suggests, the reproductive system is responsible for reproduction, the creation of new life.
The reproductive system is the only body system that isn't critical to the survival of an individual person. It's not like eating or breathing. Many people live full and healthy lives without ever reproducing. But the reproductive system is the most important system for the survival of the human species. If new babies weren't born, the species would become extinct.
The hormones of the reproductive system that are activated during puberty are produced by your sex glands, or gonads. The male gonads are the testes. The female gonads are the ovaries.
The ovaries and testes are the main organs of the reproductive system.
I'm having a great time with my friends. But I have to admit, I'm pretty nervous about starting school tomorrow.
Growing up can be tough, especially during puberty, when kids' bodies are developing sexually. All those new hormones race around in your system, telling your body to grow, grow, grow. Sometime between the ages of 9 and 14, girls develop breasts, body hair, and wider hips. Most will begin their monthly cycle of menstruation. Sometime between the ages of 11 and 16, boys start to get hair on their faces and bodies, and broader shoulders.
And there's something else you might notice about boys as they go through puberty. Their voices change.
Just another sign of growth. The windpipe, or larynx, gets larger in both sexes, but especially in boys. It makes the voice deeper and pushes the Adam's apple out.
If all these changes don't happen to you at the same time as they happen to your friends, don't worry. There's no right or wrong way. Everybody's clock's just a little different. Maybe all the changes make you self-conscious, or awkward, or moody. But hang in there. The one thing every adult has managed to do is survive puberty. And if they did it, so can we.
After puberty, your reproductive system will be mature. Of course, that doesn't mean that you'll be mature, but your body will be. Let's take a close-up look at the reproductive system.
Okay, boys first. We're talking sex glands here, so listen up. You'll recall that the male gonads are called the testes. The main hormone produced by the testes is testosterone. Testes, testosterone. Makes sense.
When a boy begins puberty, his body starts making testosterone, which triggers those amazing body changes. But that's not all testosterone does. It also stimulates the formation of the male sex cell, otherwise known as spermatozoa, or sperm for short.
Each sperm contains half of the genetic information needed to create a new person.
Though it takes nearly 72 days for a sperm to grow to maturity, over the course of a lifetime, one man may make as many as 12 trillion of them. Girls, on the other hand, are born with all the sex cells, or eggs, that they'll ever have. Most women have about 500,000 eggs, but only about 500 will ever reach maturity.
Though these eggs aren't as numerous as sperm, they're nearly 200,000 times bigger.
Eggs, also called ova, are found in the ovaries, the pair of female sex glands.
Ova, ovaries. Also makes sense.
By the time the egg begins its journey out of the ovary, it has grown to be the largest cell in a female's body.
Remember the endocrine system's boss, the pituitary gland? Well, at puberty, it kicks into high gear. It tells the ovaries to produce two hormones, estrogen and progesterone, which ripen one egg at a time.
About once a month, a mature egg is released from an ovary in a process called ovulation. Each egg carries half the genetic information needed for a baby, just as each sperm does in a male. For 6 days, the egg travels through the fallopian tube, eventually passing into the uterus. For several days, hormones have been preparing the uterus for the arrival of the egg by lining its walls with blood and body tissue. Once it does arrive, the uterus releases that lining as well as the egg, and they are discharged from the body. This process is known as menstruation, and it can take anywhere from 3 to 7 days. Part of the menstrual cycle, it happens about every 28 days. So mysterious did this monthly event seem to ancient peoples that fantastic myths sprang up around it. But menstruation is really a totally natural part of the body's preparation for reproduction.
For reproduction to take place, an egg cell from a female has to unite with a sperm cell from a male in the fallopian tube.
Once one sperm makes it through the egg's membrane, fertilization occurs. The membrane keeps all the other sperm out, while the successful sperm and egg make a completely new cell. Each contributes half of the genetic information needed for a person. Everything about that individual, what they'll look like and be like, is contained in this fertilized egg, now called a zygote.
Only as big as a grain of sand, the zygote enters the uterus. It anchors itself into that nutrient-rich lining of the uterus, and
The zygote develops. How? Let's visit science star Dr. Albert L. Roy to find out.
My name is Dr. Albert Elroy. I am a reproductive endocrinologist, which means I'm a physician who specializes in helping people solve problems of pregnancy or go through difficult pregnancies. When we talk about a pregnancy, there are multiple stages of development. The first stage is fertilization of an egg, and the outcome of that fertilization will be an embryo. The next stage is usually from 8 till 12 weeks, and that's a stage where a tremendous amount of growth happens. The brain starts to get organized, and we have the heart, which is the first organ to start activity, so it can send nutrients, oxygen, messages to all the developing organs. Between 25 and 30 weeks, the eyes are developing, the auditory system developing, the coordination of the muscles developing, the skin develops, hair develops. That fetus needs almost like a bubble which can protect him completely. A bubble that can keep the temperature constant, that can prevent infection. That bubble is the amniotic sac with its amniotic fluid. The placenta will provide the nourishment, the oxygen requirement, the immune protection, and it will provide all the needs of the fetus. With ultrasound, we can visualize the first sign of life, which is heart beating, and then later on we can analyze the developments of almost every structure in the body. The conclusion of all this process is the birth of a new life.
Babies and the reproductive system are powerful stuff. Your body is usually ready for them long before you are. Teenagers still have a lot of learning and growing ahead of them before they're ready for such an awesome responsibility.
Well, this really was a great time. And tomorrow, I'll be in high school. How cool is that?
Almost as cool as the amazing way our bodies change and grow. Many of those changes are caused by hormones, the chemical messengers that regulate your metabolism, growth, and sexual development.
Hormones are produced by the endocrine system, a network of glands led by the pituitary gland. The endocrine system tells all the other tissues and organs when to start and stop biochemical processes.
Hormones help keep your body in balance, as well as bringing on change. For a kid, no change is more demanding or exciting than puberty, the time of growth that prepares our bodies for reproduction.
Males and females develop sexually at different times and in different ways. Testes are the male sex glands that produce testosterone, the hormone that controls the production of the male sex cell, the sperm. In females, the hormones estrogen and progesterone control the release of eggs from the ovaries. Working together, the endocrine and reproductive systems usher you into adulthood, making them a vital part of the human body in action.